Okay. So first and foremost, I'll just pray for the Holy Spirit to come into me at this point in time. I ask that you allow me to channel this message and channel this information according to your will and your way. Allow me to step to the side and message to be used for that most high or the spirit guides, or spirit angels, or ancestors to come into this space at once and to be able to protect us, shield, and keep me through the process. And we use the Holy Prayer, share me, I'm gonna say. So I do realize that I am gonna have to speak louder because I don't really speak very loud. So I pray that sorry, you can't hear me. Hear me. Okay. So I already started pulling cards, and the two spiritual cards that I have so far, the two spiritual verses or the biblical verses, are Proverbs 3 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And the second scripture is Deuteronomy. I'm sorry, I can't see that. Deuteronomy, whoa, 20 and 4. Sorry. For the Lord your God, he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you. And so, what that lets me know is um, that it's a lot going on. I'm gonna back up a little because I kind of jumped ahead of myself. So last night I had a dream. I wasn't actually home last night. I didn't stay home last night. I was with a friend of mine, and we kind of had like a Galentine's kind of event go down, and it was really really nice. I really really thoroughly enjoyed myself, and in the process of having this moment or this experience, we wound up staying the night because it was really late. And we woke up, and I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, whoa, it's too early in the morning for me to really be out because everybody else is still asleep. And so usually when I wake up like that, I look around or I pray or I, make sure my surroundings are good and I go back to sleep. And so I went back to sleep and I had this dream last night. And it was wow. And what God revealed to me in this dream is that people who do things against you or people who do things to you typically do things to you out of just fear, right? Fear or lack of understanding, right? And so, or like misjudgment. So I have been experiencing a lot of spiritual warfare where people were attacking me and doing things to me in my sleep or doing things to me in my waking world or just sending me negative energy or negative vibes. And I was feeling all of it and I was just like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of person that's gonna feed into the nonsense. The nonsense, okay? But the nonsense and the rigmarole of just like, the shit that they be doing or whatever. Like I just was like, okay, whatever. I send it all back to you with light, love, and positive energy. Whatever you send to me, I'm gonna send it back to you. But I'm gonna take what's supposed to be for me, and whatever needs to be for you, I let it be for you, and you deal with whatever you gotta deal with. I'm big on reflecting energy back to you so that you can see what it is you actually are putting out. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually get a taste of what it is that you actually are wanting or hoping for someone to actually experience, right? So long story short, I had this dream, and in a dream, the young lady had been attacking me. I don't even know this young lady. I've never met this young lady. I probably met this young lady maybe once or twice. I never really had a real conversation with her, whatever the case may be. Came in contact or interaction with her, but I really don't know her, right? I don't know this girl at all. And this girl had been doing all kinds of stuff to me based off of what somebody else said to her, what somebody else told her about me, like, pillow talking type shit. And so I've been telling the girl, like, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm not bothering you. I don't even know who you are. Like, I don't want what you want. I'm not in desire of whatever it is you are in desire of. Like, you might want to stop because my ancestors and my spirit guides and my angels are like, they ready to go to war. And I'm offering grace. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on offering grace. Like, in my ancestors, I know they be sick of me. Like, girl, you always turn the other cheek. You always being nice. You always. They were like, can we just fucking play? Can we just, you know what I'm saying? Like the goons, because I do have some ancestors that's some goons, you feel what I'm saying? I feel them, I know them. And they just be like, look, yo, you can't always be nice. You're going to learn how to, like, you know what I'm saying, grow up and like go off. And so yesterday, I definitely been it, and I went off yesterday, and I was just really in that space, and I really just feeling some kind of way, and I recorded a whole video, but I chose not to upload the video because I was like, I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers. I know I'm going to step on a lot of toes, but it did feel good to get it out of my system, to get it out of my energy. And so I went ahead and I saved the video, but I did not post the video. And I probably still won't post the video, but I was able to get a lot of things off my chest that I needed to release. Now, I digress. I had a dream last night that I was taken back to a past location or a past environment in which I used to reside. And I was confronted by this young lady. Now, although I was confronted by her, she still did not show up in her true form. She showed up, a shapeshift in a different energy or different body form, or whatever the case may be. And, we had a conversation, and it was weird because, she was ready to approach the situation as if I was going to be like on some rah, rah, rah. And she was expecting me to be on some rah, rah, rah. And I really wasn't. I just was like, well, I don't understand what the situation is going on. Like, why is this happening? Why are you doing the things you're doing? Why are you attacking me? Why are you, sending me negative energy? Why are you sending me negative magic? Or why are you, casting these spells and things like that? What was the purpose of it? You know what I'm saying? And so we sat and we had a conversation, and the girl was pretty much like, I didn't know. I thought you was this way and not that way. And I was going off of what I was told, and I didn't take the time to really get to know you. And I'm just sorry, and I want to apologize. And so, like, I'm telling her, like, it is what it is. I'm not a grudge holder, you know what I'm saying? I don't hold grudges, but okay to be, but like I told her, I may say okay, but that don't mean my ancestors are gonna say okay. That don't mean my spirit guides is gonna say okay. That don't mean my my archangels or my angels that protect me are gonna be okay with whatever it is you're doing. So, she's like, well, I just want to reverse whatever I was doing and put it to the right direction, or I put it towards the persons who was actually wanting me to do it towards you. I sent it back to them instead, and I'm just hoping that you allow it to be so. I'm asking for your permission, in essence, to allow it to be so, because I didn't know. I'm sorry. And so I was just like, okay. I said, let me get my shit out of this house real quick, and we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? We can connect, but I don't fuck with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to you, but I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be on the same page or the same, vibrational frequency with you, or none of that. No way, shape, or fashion. I don't wish you no ill will. I don't wish you no hurt. I don't wish you no harm. I just want you to leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the rest of my shit from where it's supposed to be out this spiritual environment, so I can leave, because I don't want to be here. This not my shit no more. This way y'all want to be. This what y'all want to have. This is what y'all want. So y'all go ahead and take this and do your thing in here, so I can be free. And so I was able to gather all of my belongings that was left behind, or all of my belongings that were taken from me, or all of the things that were misused or snuck in from me or stolen from me, whatever the case. I was able to gather all of my things and bag it all up. And it was crazy because in the dream, I was also accompanied by my mother, who is deceased. And so my mother was just like, be nice, be kind. Don't, my mom is the one to be like, chill, you know what I'm saying? Because she already know, like, when I get off, I get off. You know what I'm saying? And once I get off, I'm gone. It ain't no coming back. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck no more. I really don't give a fuck no more. It's gone. So I my mom was there, and my mom, usually when my mom shows up in my dreams, she's there to like kind of be like the protector, the barrier, the guard, the guard, or my bodyguard or whatever. And so she mediated this whole interaction with this young lady. And, I told her, you're gonna get what's yours. You're gonna get what's due to you, because I'm good at giving back whatever is due to you. I'm good at giving out what's due to you. However, don't think you're gonna get it right now. You're gonna get it when I give it to you. You're gonna get it when it's time for it to come. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna know when the shit gonna come. It's just gonna show up one day. You're just gonna be like, what the fuck? Right? I like shit like that. I like spontaneous, surprise type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I'm gonna get my shit out of here, and it is what it is. And my mom was like, I'm so proud of you, because you didn't go off on a little girl, you didn't beat her up, you didn't cuss out, and things of that nature. And I'm just like, mom, I'm more mature now. I'm not, that young girl that I used to be. I'm not that firecracker I used to be. Now, don't get me wrong, that she's still in there. You know what I'm saying? I can call her up whenever the fuck I want to call her up. However, I'm mature now. I'm older now. I'm thinking from a different mindset. I'm thinking from a different level. I'm looking at things from a different perspective. My mindset is totally different. And so I say all this to say that people will test you and challenge you in many different ways, because a lot of times they misconcept or have misconceptions of you, or misperceptions of you, because of what somebody else said, or because of how somebody else was feeling about you. And so instead of people getting the chance or taking the time to get to know you, they like to jump on the bandwagon, you know what I'm saying, and hear all of the things that were said about you, and they take it and they run with it. That's why they say you never judge a book by its cover. You actually have to open that book up and actually take the time to actually get to read that book. Read what's going on. Understand that person. Take that person apart piece by piece to really understand why they are the way that they are, right? And so I said I was going to come and I was going to do my reading, and I was going to ask God to just, reveal to me some things that I need to be revealed, or just give me that information I need to, allow myself to continue to stay grounded and to stay focused and just move according to his will and his way. I'm going to write another essay because that's going to get ready to go out. But, like, allow me to go or move according to his will and his way. And, and just allow me to receive whatever message I need to receive, to allow the situation just be cool, calm, and collected and smooth. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, my nose right, it's cold. Because I love God and I love spirit and I love source and I love who I am and I love who I was created to be and I love everything about myself, even the things that I feel like I need to work on. I still love those things too because it just makes me who I am. Just so divinely blessed to just be who I am. And so I asked God to just give me a message to help me understand, or give me a message that I may need to share for other people so that they can understand and know how to maneuver or move through, their situations. And so the dream was important for me because this was what's happening to me. And so I was having a conversation with my friend because she woke me up. And so the dream ended because she woke me up. And she was like, rise and shine, it's time to go. And I'm like, all right, back. So I get up and we leave. And as we're talking, the conversation that was had as we were riding from point A to point B was in the gist of understanding the difference between the waking realm and the sleeping realm, the dream realm, right? How when you are asleep, you are still functioning in a different dimension or a different realm, and so you have to be careful in your sleeping realm or in your REM sleep, like they say when you go to REM sleep, you're dreaming and things of that nature. And many of us don't even remember our dreams or remember where our soul has traveled to when we are asleep. And so I was explaining to her that's a part of the spiritual realm, understanding the spiritual realm, understanding, the things that actually exist around you on a regular basis that we don't even pay attention to, that we are no longer knowledgeable of, that we are not taught about, that we are not educated on when it comes to just being spiritual and understanding yourself and understanding just, knowing who you are in depth, right? And so I make videos about understanding yourself and really like, doing the internal work to get you to think. Because the whole point is you have to think. You have to go deeper than what is just in front of you. Your carnal mind, right? Your carnal mind is your everyday life, a mind that you're walking around in, your personality that you walk around in, how you present yourself to the world around you, right? However, your spiritual self, the part of you that you keep to yourself, or the part of you that, is like your conscience that guides you from point A to point B, many times we curve that voice. We don't want to hear it because it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna go do it my way, or oh, I'm just gonna fit in, or oh, I just wanna let things just be what it is. No, you have to learn to listen to that first mind that says, don't go down, don't do that. This not gonna turn out how you think it's gonna turn out. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the time, your spiritual self or your soul will give you some guidance, right? And so it's all a matter of how in tune you are with you, and how much you really tap into you and understanding it. Take the time to get to know and understand yourself, right? And so for me, I know when I go to sleep, I'm still lucid in my dreams. I'm still able to walk around in my dream state. I'm still able to talk in my dream state. I'm still able to kind of like make things happen in my dream state if I want to, or if I just don't want to engage, I don't engage in my dream state, and I will wake myself up. Like, we ain't doing this. I'm out of here. I'm good with this. I can go to another dimension, or I can go to another realm or another frequency. I'm not with it. So, um, I bring all this up because we need to be knowledgeable and educated on how to protect ourselves in our sleeping states when we are asleep, right? When we are physically asleep in the 3D, we are awake in the 4D and 5D. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing in the 4D and 5D when you are asleep to make sure that you are protected, because people will do things to you, or people will come to you, or people will attempt to manipulate or distract you in your spirit, in your spiritual or your sleeping state. And a lot of times we don't know how to protect ourselves or shield ourselves from them, which is part of the reason why we were taught as kids that when you go to bed, you say your prayers at night. You know what I'm saying? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. That's one. And then we teach our kids. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. If I should live many days, I pray the Lord to guide my ways. You know what I'm saying? And that's the prayer. Amen. And so I taught that to my children, but we were taught these prayers at night, or asking for the holy angels to come in and protect us at night. We were taught these prayers at night for a reason, because when we are not in the physical realm, the 3D realm, where we're walking around and waking and doing things, we are sometimes unprotected in that spiritual realm when we go to sleep, in that dreamscape, right? And so you have to make sure that you are protected. And so I know me, I have scriptures around my home. I leave the Bibles open around my home. I pray over my home. I burn incense around my home at times. You know what I'm saying? I anoint my home. It's different things that you can do, in your home to protect and love and shield your home, and not just your home, but your children and your physical body as well. Even down to like salt baths or spiritual baths and things of that nature. Is a lot of different things you can do to protect yourself or keep yourself protected, right, while you sleep. And so many of us, like I said, are not taught about these things, or we are not knowledgeable about these things, because it's all a bunch of hoopla in some people's mind, or it's just, oh, that was old ancestral things, or that was past stuff, or it was not passed down because the knowledge was lost. You know what I'm saying? You know how they pass things down word of mouth. The knowledge was lost because some people just stopped doing it. Right? They stopped teaching it. We stopped going to church. We stopped loving on one another. We stopped, touching and agreeing. We stopped coming together in communion with one another to just share word and just uplift or uphold each other. Like, so it's a lot of different things that play a part in the loss of traditional or ancestral practices or cycles, right? And so I want us to understand that you're never going to be lost, because your soul knows where to go. It's just time for you to wake up and tap in. Take the time to sit down and be still and tap into yourself. So I had this dream, and I wanted to come out of the dream, and I wanted to come home, and I wanted to get into a whole different space, because I wanted more clarity, right? I wanted to understand more about what was going on, and I wanted to be able to share this information, not just for myself, but for those who may also be going through or experiencing some of the things that I myself have been experiencing. So I read the two scriptures in the beginning, and I'm going to say them again: Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and Deuteronomy 20 and 4. And so I began to pull my cards because, excuse me, I began to pull my cards because I was like, I want to be able to share and relay messages of related information that needs to be relayed. Now, a lot of times people attack you, or want to hurt you, or want to take what's yours, because they are envious, because they have not passed that lesson or passed that journey, or they have not experienced what they needed to experience, or gained the knowledge they needed to gain through whatever experiences that they did experience, to be able to show up for themselves in the manner in which they show up. And when you focus on yourself, and you are able to understand your divine right and your divine beauty, and understand your true essence, your true self, or you have taken the time to do the work to heal the broken parts of you, or to retrieve the broken parts of you, or to go through the life lessons that you're supposed to go through, you begin to find the beauty within the darkness of yourself, right? Because they say, as within, so without, right? As above, so below, and so forth and so forth. So you have to turn inward to look at yourself inwardly, to understand yourself. And many of us that take the time to do that, the spiritual sense, and take the time to get to understand ourselves, we begin to get to understand our divine beauty, right? Our divine essence. It says divine beauty. So I want to make sure you can see it. And so when you understand your divine beauty and your divine right, you begin to understand and know all of the parts or compartments of you. You begin to understand and know all of the capacity that you're able to hold, the life you're supposed to hold, the energy you're supposed to hold, the weight that you can bear, the weight that you cannot bear. Like you begin to understand and know all of you, right? And so as you begin to embrace your beauty and know your beauty, and you call upon that beauty, and you move through that level of appreciation for yourself, you allow yourself to be awakened in such a way that you shine bright, right? You shine bright and you bring an essence of just love to yourself, right? And so I'm gonna read the card because I like reading the cards too. It's just a lot of levels to it, right? So it says the quality of divine beauty is an expression of sacred harmony. The energy of divine beauty manifests through the fourth ray of harmony, which comes to you as now as a ray of light. Created from the love that the universe has for you, it bestows the qualities of beauty, harmony, and balance. It empowers you to successfully complete spiritual initiation, to be able to move through a challenging time of conflict into new life. When the fourth ray of harmony appears, you are being given notice that even the most challenging conflict in your life is serving an important divine purpose, right? And I was explaining to my friend, nothing in your life happens for no reason. Everything happens for a reason, to show you a part of you, to wake you up to a part of you, right? Okay. And so it says that conflict is going to eventually transform itself into the fuel that you need to be born anew. The presence of Archangel Gabriel and the loving wisdom of Earth Mother transmit the blessing of the fourth ray of harmony into your soul now, right? And so I had that dream, and that dream was showing me like the old me would have been ready to fuck this girl up. No disrespect. The old me would have been ready to fight this girl. The old me would have been ready to snatch this girl up and throw her up out my house. It's my house. How you in my crib telling me about me? Or how you in my crib trying to dictate to me how to move around and maneuver in my crib? And I was like, in the dream, I'm just like, you know what? This isn't even my home anymore. I don't claim this home. So if this is what you think you want or you think you deserve, you are welcome to have it, because I know that I deserve and I'm worthy of more. So instead of me retaliating and reacting in a negative light or a negative sense, baby, I know my worth. I know that I'm a queen. I'm going to wear my crown. I'm an empress. You feel me? I'm going to wear my crown correctly. I'm a step correctly. I'm going to remove myself from this whole shit show, because this ain't even for me. You feel what I'm saying? I'm above this. So when you know your worth and you know that you are above, you don't act in a way that's unbecoming, right? You carry yourself in a manner or way that is becoming of what you truly honestly are. You represent yourself in that light. And so I was like, okay, friend. And she's like, well, I'm sorry I did this, and I'm sorry I did that. I did this, and I did this because you did it. And I just want to know that, you know what I'm saying? Because you think you just a friend. I don't think I know. I don't think I know who I am. I know what I deserve. So if this is what you think or you feel like you deserve, or this is what you believe yourself to deserve, or you know yourself to deserve, that's your shit. I don't got nothing to do with that. I'm not staking claim on something that doesn't belong to me. I'm not seeking or running after things that don't belong to me. I'm not, and none of us should be doing that, right? None of us should be so consumed with what somebody else has, so much so to the point where as though we're losing track of our own personal journey or our own personal growth, right? You should never be so concerned about what somebody else is doing in their life, in their times, and their trials and tribulations, that you don't even know what's going on in your own world or your own vicinity of your own situation, right? When you so wrapped up in somebody else's shit, you've lost sight of your own shit. So why? Like, why do that? Right? Why allow yourself to lose track of what's really important? Why allow yourself to walk away from, your family? That's funny. Walk away from your family, or walk away from your divine blessings or your divine gifts or your divine right or your divine just whatever is coming to you. Why walk away from that or be so consumed or so wrapped up in what somebody else has going on that you're not even focused on you? Because now you in somebody else's lane. You driving a car and you just swerved over here because you looking at what's going on over there as opposed to stand in your own shit. And so that brings me to the second card, which is Family of Light, right? I love her ears and that's so pretty, right? Because when you looking at somebody else's gifts and you looking at somebody else's blessings and looking at somebody else's situation, you're not paying attention to your own situation. So therefore, you're gonna miss and block your own blessings. You're gonna miss and block your own self from receiving and getting the gifts that you was truly supposedly only supposed to get. Right. And when you so consumed with somebody else's situation and you want and what they got, or you wishing ill will on them, or you just wrapped up in they shit, you in essence are stagnating and stunning your own growth. Now it's not to say that you can't look at another situation to admire or look at another situation to, like be inspired or get inspiration from it or whatever the case may be. Like you're supposed to do that too. However, it's to a degree. You have to have a balance, right? And that card said that you have to have a balance. And this card is indication to let you know that you are now at that point. Because if you really look at this card, she's facing a tiger and she's holding a tiger's face. They eye to eye. She's like, you know what? I'm embracing this tumultuous, crazy world and I'm taking hold of it and I'm finding the balance and the peace in it. Okay. And so you have to do that. We have to come to terms to do that. And I'm going to pause for a second because I have to go do something right back. And I'm back like I never left. Okay. And so I'm now moving to the second card. It says Family of Light, right? And so the card says the limits that many people place upon their love, right? That they will love their own family, country, religion, or community better than they love those on the outside. Do not restrain your heart, right? Now, before I pause, I was talking about the beauty within, right? And understanding who you are and understanding that light and that love and that energy that's inside of you, right? You have to be able to be capable of loving everything else around you too, right? And that's important because we are all connected, right? It says you are capable of loving humanity, of loving all creation as an extended spiritual family. You will love your own and you will love all as your own. You are meant to belong to a spiritual family of light in this world and beyond, right? And so that's a part of also wanting to feel connected and wanting to feel like unified or feel like a part of unity or be unified or be connected to another entity or being, right? Just to be able to fellowship and come into communion with one another. So it's like, when you first learn to love yourself, you learn to know that you are not just you're not alone. It's not just you, right? It's other people around you that are also going through the stuff you're going through, that are also experiencing what you may be experiencing, but experiencing in their own right, experiencing in their own, their own energy or experiencing in their own journey, right? And when you learn to love yourself unconditionally, then you are able to kind of let that overflow into the world around you as well. And you're able to love the world around you unconditionally as well, too. And that, in essence, will also attract your divine or spiritual family, right? And it's time. It's time for us to stop being envious of each other. It's time for us to stop tearing each other down. It's time for us to stop, wanting to take from. Because like like I said, you can admire someone else. You can be inspired by someone else. But just because you admire them or are inspired by them does not mean that you yourself cannot possess those same things or those same qualities that person that you're looking up to as well. Like you have the ability and the capability to touch or tap into that as well. You have to be willing to do the work within. And when you start doing that work and you start loving yourself and you start forgiving and you stop caring about what Susie Q and Auntie JoJo and them got going on over there, and you stop worrying about what the job is saying about this, that, and the third, and you focus on you and you focus on how you are growing, developing, and changing, you will begin to attract, those that are like you. You will begin to call in your true spirit family. You will begin to make friends or make connections with people that are more like you or that are most like you. And you won't have to worry about what Susie, Johnny, QQ, and them over there is doing or not doing, right? You'll learn to be able to kind of like trust, right? Trust in yourself, trust in your discernment, trust in the energy that you're feeling, and know that you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to open up, to allow your heart to be pure, to allow your heart to be open, or allow yourself to have space for the new things to come in. Because a lot of times what happens is when we go through life and we experience all these little things that happen to us in our childhood and our youth, we're holding on to that. We're holding grudges without even realizing we're holding grudges, you know what I'm saying? Or we're holding that brokenness without realizing we're holding that brokenness. Or we're holding that pain without realizing we're holding that pain and not addressing it so that we can release it, or so that we can heal it, or so that we can understand why we even allowed ourselves to go through the shit we went through in the first place, right? So it's like you're not studying yourself enough or doing the work on yourself enough for you to be able to even move. And when you start loving yourself and you start doing that work on yourself, and you start acknowledging, okay, well, this happened to me. I wonder, why did this happen to me? What was I supposed to learn from this happening to me? What was the purpose of me going through this? Or what did I gain from that experience? What opened up in me that I didn't know was open? What needs to be closed in me that shouldn't be open no more? You know what I'm saying? What person has access to me that should no longer have access to me? What vice am I attached to that should no longer be attached to me, or I should no longer be attached to? You start doing that type of internal work and working on yourself, and you start shutting those doors, or you start giving forgiveness to yourself and to those who are engaged or involved in that situation, and you start understanding and realizing, like, hey, they just being used. They just a vessel, just like I'm being a vessel, and they're going through the things they're going through because that's what their journey is supposed to be. That's what their life path entailed them to do. And a lot of times we talk about society, and we talk about like serial killers and rapists and mass murderers and things of that nature. Those persons did not just turn into them individuals just because, you know what I'm saying? It was something that triggered them in their youth or their childhood or in their adolescence or in their upbringing. There was at some point of pain that was allowed to be used, right? Or allowed to, or basically not honed in on or taken advantage of, in a sense where as though they were allowed to be nurtured, or they were allowed to be, loved on, or whatever it can be. Like their mental development changed or altered all of that, right? And some souls actually come here to be the villain. They are the villain in your story because they were designed to be the villain in your story. They were designed to be the catalyst. They were designed to come in and see everything from a different perspective, right? So, like, that's why they talk about past lives, right? When you have a past life, you may have been a queen or a debutante or whatever in your past life, right? Your soul will say, you know what? Well, I want to go back and do it again. But this time when I go back, I want to see it from this perspective. Or this time when I go back, I want to see it from this type of lens, or be in this type of body, or experience it from, whatever um cast, yes, whatever cast that that is there at that time, right? Because the time does change, you know what I mean? And the timelines do change, even though they play with our timelines like shit. Timelines change, right? But history doesn't change. History repeats itself, right? And if history repeats itself, we are supposed to be learning from our history. We're supposed to be learning from the things that have transpired around us, and we're supposed to be learning from our past. Our past and our current lives is also our history. I explain it to my students to the maybe last week, whatever. Every day in your life is a day of history. Every day that you are moving through the world, you are creating history. It's all being taken down. It's all being recorded, and at some point in time, we get to go back and look at it and say, wow, this is what happened. Or wow, this is what took place. Or wow, this is how this went down. Like, it's all being recorded in our history books. Like, you think about the textbooks that they're creating now. In the textbooks they create now, it's going to have all this shit from COVID. It's going to have swine flu. It's going to have, it's going to have H1N1. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have all these things that we lived through. Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? World War One, World War Two, Pearl Harbor, all these different little things. The Indian War, the Gulf War. It's so many different things that transpired through our history that is recorded, that we now can sit down and go back and look at and say, oh, I experienced this, or oh, I lived through this, or oh, I went through this, and this is what happened to me at that point in time, and this is where I am now. Right? And when you start to do that, you begin to learn more about yourself. You begin to change your perspective. You begin to see how you've grown, how you have evolved, how you have changed, what you have transpired through, right? And when you elevate and you are no longer like bothered by the things that go on around you, you begin to attract people that are also no longer bothered by the things that go on around you or around them as well. You begin to look at things from a different lens, from a bird's eye perspective, or from a top down versus from a bottom up, right? Like a glass half full as opposed to a glass half empty type perspective, right? And that's where we should be looking at things. We have to learn how to empty out the garbage, right? So like your body is like a machine, right? And it's not just a physical being or machine. It's a emotional machine. It's a ethereal machine. It's an energetic machine. You know, and you have to learn how to clear out the gunk. So you know, like when a battery in a car, it has so much acid buildup on it, it won't start or have issues with making that connection between the energy or the electrical frequency of the battery, so the battery can actually keep the alternator charging so that it can actually run the motor and the car can actually move. And so sometimes we'll pour some Coca-Cola or soda on the knobs of the battery to burn off that acid so that we can get a better charge or a better connection. And it works, right? So sometimes you gotta clean up the gun. Every now and then you gotta go and get a tune up, right? I mean, sometimes you gotta change out the parts so that it can work. And we as human beings have to know how to do that. We have to know how to detox. We have to know how to drink water. We have to know how to eat our fruit, you know what I'm saying? And drink our vegetables. We have to know how to process our food and vegetables properly or clean them properly. And so, like, a lot of times we don't even eat from the earth anymore. Like, this shit we eat now is so organic and so man made, it is not fucking funny. We just eating plastic and we calling it good. And no wonder a lot of us have so many health issues and things of nature because they really just trying to turn us into fucking robots. And the crazy part is, we already computers. Your brain is a computer, and your brain is ran by your spirit, which is your nervous system. It's already a computer. So why not work on the computer that you were blessed with and take care of the computer you were blessed with and exercise the computer you were blessed with as opposed to looking for an artificial one, right? So it's levels to that. It's really, really a lot of levels to that. But like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna, just stay there. I'm gonna move to the next card. The next card is Lady Nada, right? And this card, I'm gonna get to it. Give me a second. Lady Nada, what I'm getting from this card, like, I'm not even just gonna, like, she's embracing some things, right? She's allowing herself, like, if you look at this card, I'm gonna show it to you. Just look at where she is, right? And you know how I say you gotta embrace your natural state, embrace your natural being, and just embrace yourself. You gotta go back to nature and make connection with nature because nature is our biggest teacher. And we really watch our natural environment and how it thrives. You watch the earth and just how the earth interacts and how the earth reacts to all the things that we do to it, right? All the shit that we do. And it was funny because I was having a conversation last night with the young lady and she had me rolling, but she was right. She was like, I don't know why we sit up here tripping, like, you know what I'm saying? We're going off of a 2,000-year-old history, right? The blacks have been here since forever, right? Our history dates back to AD, right? Before Christ, AD. And we are sitting here going off of BC. I'm sorry, it's BC. I'm sorry. Our history dates back to BC, before Christ, BC. And we are currently in the AD, right? Anno Domini, the after Christ, right? And it's only been what, 2,000 years? We're in what, 2026? So it's 2,026 years. Excuse me. 2,026 years since the demise of Christ, since all the stuff has gone left and went left and we are experiencing the history of quote unquote man, right? And look at how the world has dwindled. And we were sitting there laughing. I said, you know what, that's crazy. I said, you know, you got a very valid point. I said, because when you think about prior to that, even when you think about down to the history of the United States, this land was already occupied, right? It was Aboriginal people already here. They were of color. You know what I'm saying? They were dark. They weren't light. They was dark. They were of color, right? And they were classified as Negroid or Negroes. And when in essence they were Aboriginal Indians. They were They weren't, and I wouldn't even call them Indian because they're not from India. You know what I'm saying? They were um, aboriginal beings from this continent. So we were already here. We were already thriving. We were already living. We were already functioning. We had pyramids. We had sphinxes and things of that nature all around. You know, the United States has more pyramids than any other continent. And it's funny because I'm like, well, not just the United States, but North America. North America has more pyramids than any other continent on this planet. There's so much more on this planet. Even down to like the map, when they show us the map is upside down. That's another thing. I'm gonna tell you that shit. There's a lot of things they do not educate us on, and they don't tell us because they really don't want us to know. And what I was taught was that the conqueror is the one who gets to dictate the history, right? So if we are at war, we go to war, we allow you to come in and we attempt to kind of give you connection, to give you peace, and you come in and you basically kill us off. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, because who's going to challenge you, right? Who's going to say you wrong? Who's going to tell you that, you know, what you saying is valid? And so, like, the true nature of those individuals or beings who are truly from here, they know because in their soul and in their heart of hearts, they can feel it. We are energetically connected to our predecessors, our ancestors. We are always connected through DNA, baby. Right? We're always connected. So when you start to learn to understand your DNA and study your DNA and study your ancestry and study your heritage and study your history, where you came from and who you are, who you connected to, and who that person's connected to, and how that person connected to that person connected to that person, and you start going back through your family tree and you start understanding and saying who is what and when, where, and why, and you start allowing yourself to embrace that, you start to wake up your DNA. You start to be able to call on those ancestors and those spirit guides, and you begin to activate that gift or those gifts that lay dormant in you. Oh, baby, the world is going to change. Your world is going to change. Your perspective is going to change. Your energy is going to change. How you show up is going to change. Like I tell my kids all the time, when you outside, you just represent me. You represent your whole entire family. Understand that. That word family, I'm talking about generational family, like generations upon generations upon generations, right? We're walking around with at least seven to nine generations within us at one point in time. So you represent all them generations within you, right? Excuse me. And so when you walk around with those seven generations that's within you, you gotta represent. You can't just be out here on no fluke or no fuck shit. You gotta represent for that generation, for them generations that are blessing you, that are backing you or supporting you, that are flowing through your veins. That blood is flowing through your veins. You know how to say blood is thicker than water? That blood is flowing through your veins. That blood carries messages. That blood carries history. That blood carries gifts. That blood carries just history, right? Genetics. It carries it, right? And so when you start to allow yourself to tap into yourself and you begin to embrace your true love and you begin to embrace your understanding, you call in your soul family, you begin to call in your soul tribe, you begin to call in the divine partners that are supposed to be here to help you. You are allowing yourself to now heal. And Lady Nada, the card Lady Nada, is all about healing, right? It's about healing your heart. It's about healing your mind. It's about healing yourself on such a deep level beyond what anybody else can compare, right? And so it says, your heart is healing at a deep level. A softening of your heart is allowing for emotional pain to be released, healing your soul from the fears and anxieties that have held you back from openness and joy, right? Lady Nada is connecting with your soul with all her gentle power washing through your inner heart as a soft, pale pink light. Anger, fear, sadness, bitterness, disappointment, and hurt are soothed and loved into peace. She brings you a sign of your future blossoming into love and of absolute peace available to you now. All is well. And so that brings me to the next card, which is divine devotion, right? Because when you find peace and you come to peace and you come to terms with yourself, and you come to terms with the world around you and know that everything that happens to you is happening to you for a reason and it's something that you're supposed to learn about yourself, you begin to divinely devote yourself to yourself and devote yourself to a most high, because you understand that you are not in control of anything. You were never in control of it. Spirit was always in control. Source was always in control. It was a matter of you being in connection and in partnership with spirit, in partnership with your soul, in partnership with your Christ consciousness, in partnership with yourself, and in partnership with the universe, right? And when you start to come in partnership with that and you begin to embrace your divine energy and you devote yourself to yourself, right? You wake up, right? You wake up. You wake up not just yourself, but you wake up your true nature. You wake up your ancestors that were dormant. You wake up the trials and tribulations of their past. And when you start healing yourself, you're not just healing you, you're also healing everything that you carry and all that ancestry that you carry. You're healing those past hurts and pains for them too. Right? That's a lot of weight to bear, right? It says, divine devotion is a stream of energy created from the love the universe has for you. It manifests a special way of energy or a special ray of energy known as the sixth ray. It generates the qualities of persistence, unwavering focus, and intensity of feeling that motivates action, right? So now we're moving into action, right? It is a gift of strength and determination to move mountains for what you love. When the sixth ray of devotion appears, you are being given guidance that even if you do not seem to have much worldly power in the form of wealth or opportunity or connections right now, the power of your belief can conquer many obstacles. If you align yourself with similar frequency groups, which we already know we can do and we've already started doing because we're now in the process of healing, right? When you align yourself with these frequency groups, your power to accomplish your soul's work in the world will increase, right? So like when I go back and I think about that dream and I'm like that young lady that's attacking me, I say, man, this ain't this, that's your shit. That's for you. I had that already. I experienced that already. I'm good with what I experienced. I'm good with what I learned. I'm good with what I gained from that situation. I thank you for its services and I'm good. I no longer am of need of any of the things that you are seeking to offer. All of my needs have been met. May you find what it is that you need in that situation so that you may be free as well. I'm free. And I walk away and remove myself, right? And so it says the Archangel Uriel amplifies the blessing of the sixth ray in your soul, reminding you to believe in the accomplishing potency of your heart aligned with what you truly love. Right. And so you have to do that soul searching. You have to go within and figure out, okay, well, maybe when you were 4 or 5 years old, you were starved and your mommy didn't feed you, or your mommy didn't hug you, or your mommy didn't kiss you, or your daddy didn't hug you, or your daddy didn't kiss you, or your daddy wasn't there, or your mama wasn't there, or your grandmammy died, or your dog died, or something. Whatever happened to you throughout your life that was a pivotal moment, or that was a life altering moment, or that was a challenging moment, or that was a traumatic moment, or a triggering moment for you. When you go back and you start to understand why those things happened to you, or you start to seek and understand how can you release or let go, or what was going on with you at that time, and you take time to be compassionate with yourself at that point in time in your life, and you say, you know what, when I was 5 years old, I was molested by my cousins, and I was watched by my brothers, right? My brothers had coerced me to come down into the basement room of my grandmother's house, and my cousins molested me, and my brothers watched. Now my brother that's next to me, he didn't know what was going on at first, but then when he realized what was going on, he attempted to stop it, right? He attempted to fight them off and try to get them off me. And of course, at the time, we was only a year apart, so he ain't but so much bigger than me or so much stronger than me. So it was only but so much he could actually do. But my oldest brother sat there and let it happen. You know what I'm saying? He didn't stop it. He was just as curious and inquisitive as to what was going on and what was happening and what was occurring in my body while I was being molested by my cousin. Right? And that's triggering and I trigger warning, so I apologize. It was something that I had to deal with, right? And so at that point in time when I was experiencing that, at that point in time I had to go back and think about, well, what was going through my mind when I was about 5, 6 years old and this is happening to me. Why is this happening? Right? Why does my body feel like this? Why is it okay for them to do these things? Why won't they stop? Right? What is the purpose of them wanting to do this? What was in their mind? What was going on, and where did they get this idea to even do this from? Right? And so it was like I as an adult, I went back and I thought about all these things. And I said, you know what? How old were they? Right? Compared to me, how old were they? Oh, they was only preteens, middle school, high school. They weren't even as old as they was barely as old as I was. Still in elementary, middle school, and high school. Overly sex teenagers, young preteens, right? Their body's changing too. Their moral compass is still being developed too, right? So it's like, okay, you have to, well, you don't have to, but I did. I chose to forgive them. As that scripture says, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. That doesn't just apply to Jesus in that moment when that thing when he was being crucified. It didn't just apply to him. That applied to everybody that ever been wronged. That applies to everybody that has ever been crossed in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? That applies to all of us to some degree. Forgive these people who do the things to me, for they know not what they're doing to me. They don't. Sometimes when people hurt your feelings, they don't even know they hurt your feelings until you bring it to their awareness, right? Many times they're not aware. We are just acting off of what we feel or what we think or what we know or what we believe to be right. And that's not wrong, right? It's really not wrong because that is what we were taught, and that is our mental capacity and our consciousness or our awareness at that point in time in our lives, right? So how am I gonna keep beating you up for something that you did when you was this age? You're not that age no more. Excuse me, right? You're not at that same conscious awareness anymore. You're at a different level of conscious awareness now. So I have to forgive that version of you because that version of you didn't know any better. That version of you was just as lost as I was. That version of you was just as corrupted at that point in time than you are now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you, because we all go through a spirit of phase of corruption, right? None of us on this planet is perfect. Show me a perfect being. Please, show me a perfect being, because there is none. Even Jesus himself was tempted. Even Jesus himself had to go through trials and tribulations, right? He had to test himself. He had to learn. Just like we all are here to do. We are here to learn. We are here to challenge ourselves to do the better. To do better than what we did before. To learn from our past, to learn from our hurts, to learn from our mistakes, right? We are here to grow, evolve, and change. Right? We're here to be better than what we once were. Right? And that brings me to my last little card. And this is the Master Hilarion. It says your soul healing journey includes the exploration and development of the creative power of your mind, right? And that takes a lot for you to go into your heart and go into your mind and say, you know what? This happened to me. I forgive this part of myself for allowing myself for this to happen. I forgive the part of me that was unable to protect myself at that point in time. I forgive the part of me that did protect myself at that point in time. I forgive the part of me that didn't know any better at that point in time. I forgive all parts of me that was lost, right? Because you got to be lost in order for you to be found. I talked about that in one of my videos when I said duality, understanding duality, right? The balance between the light and the dark, and above and below, and inside and outside, and around and about. You know what I'm saying? Opposites, right? There cannot be one without the other. They work simultaneously together. So your trials and tribulations come to challenge you, to wake you up, to bring you into awareness. So without your trials and tribulations, you will never be aware. You gotta go through in order for you to get through, in order for you to become, right? Everything happens for a reason, okay? So it says your soul healing journey includes the exploration and development of the creative power of your mind. You are learning that as you change your mind, you can change your world. Your mind is expanding as your soul heals and opens to the spiritual dimensions. At times, you shall penetrate the veil of illusion and be able to perceive the spiritual face of divine love smiling at you, even in the most apparently ordinary of physical world moments. When the mind is open, spiritual experience of the sacred can be found unexpectedly in unlimited and often unlikely places. As your mind continues to gently open, your soul gains conscious access to other dimensions, state of being, experiences, and insights. And I just said all that, right? I said all that without even reading the card, right? And so you also need time to rest, to integrate what it is that you have encountered, and allow it to actually take hold and take place within you. Ascended Master Hilarion and Archangel Raphael bring you guidance and support to take the time to process your experiences so that healing change can then naturally unfold in your soul and your life. So you have to, like today, I was talking to my friend on the ride, like I said, on the ride home, I was talking to her and I was telling her, like, I experienced these things. I didn't understand why this shit was happening to me, but I experienced these things and I had to learn from these things. And I'm like, she's like, well, you need to confront the persons that were a part of it because that's also a part of your healing. And I say, I attempted to do that. I did. I attempted to sit and have a conversation with each individual person that was around during those trials and tribulations, and each individual person that was a part of said situations, right? That I experienced. And they were not receptive to that process. They didn't want to address it. They didn't want to go through that process with me. Therefore, I had to go through that process by myself. So even though people do things to you, or people, are envious of you, or people seek to do hurt or harm to you, whatever the case may be, it does not mean that you cannot grow, heal, evolve, or change. If they're not willing to have that conversation with you, they don't have to have it. As long as you have that conversation, even if you just have that conversation with yourself and you sit and you just talk the spirit and you just talk out loud in the vicinity of your own self, in the safe space of your own room, that frequency, excuse me, that frequency, that energy is felt. That forgiveness is felt, right? It's because we are energetic beings, right? So when your soul says, you know what, I want to address this for once and for all. I no longer want to feel this. I no longer want to, hold a grudge, or I no longer want to hold this pain, or I no longer want to just sit here or sit with this feeling or this emotion or this energy or this whatever this is that's in me, that's blocking me. I want to address it once and for all. I want to bring it to the forefront. I want to bring it to the prevalent point in my mind where I can actually touch on it and I can heal it. I can embrace it for once and all and say, you know what? I accept that happened. I accept those trials and tribulations and I thank them for their services and I thank them for what they have brought to me and I now release them. I no longer hold on to the hurt or the pain that was caused. I hold on to the lesson. I hold on to the healing. I hold on to the awareness. I hold on to the I was going to say the embracement. I don't even know if it's a real word. The embracement that it has given my soul, that has given my spirit, right? I hold on to the light that I have gained from it, the enlightenment that I have gained from it. And that's part of what I mean when I say the light, the enlightenment that I've gained from it, because it has taught me or shown me who I really am, right? We are light beings. So instead of us being dark, let's start glowing up, okay? Glow up, light being, glow up. So I'm going to end this message here and I may come back with another video. I may come back with another reading. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it is what it is. With light, love, and positive energy, you always remember to thine own self be true. Ashe, may I say.